began using the internet, like probably many of you have, and I began looking for what the materials were that were being used and why. Now, there's an awful lot of technical material behind what you're seeing. For one thing, these particles, these nanoparticles that are being put into the air, not only help to shield the ground from the sun and block and reflect the sunlight, which can change the temperature of the air mass below that, make it cooler, make it come together and compress. But it can also be bombarded with microwave radiation from the ground. And if you match the frequency of these particles in just the right way, these particles will begin to heat up in the air, and that heat is transferred to the surrounding air mass. Now, it only has to be a mild amount of heat. It could be 135 degrees. But if you have countless, trillions of these particles suspended in the air that are all being painted with this signal, they will all heat up at the same time, and they will carry that air mass and all the moisture that's in it to a higher altitude where it will condense and become a powerful low pressure system. Now, people question whether it's possible to manipulate the weather, to steer the jet stream. You have to remember that when you put a coating over a surface and it cools down the air mass below that, the air comes together, it condenses. When you heat up the air mass, it rises and expands. And so by controlling where and when these events occur, you can actually control the flow of the jet stream. A few years ago, it was discovered that the amount of snow that fell in the Himalayas near Mount Everest would actually control where the jet stream went over the course of the following year. And that's just one location on the planet. Ball right here was a red blood cell, something you can't even see without a microscope. You could line 50 of these particles up next to a single red blood cell. That's how tiny they are. They can be absorbed right through the skin, and of course there's almost no filtration system that you can wear that will prevent these things from being introduced into your body during respiration. It was an Air Force study, a United States Air Force study that was conducted between 1993 and 2001. It was called In Vitro Toxicity of Aluminum Nanoparticles in Rat Alveolar Macrophages. Sounds real technical, but all it says is aluminum nanoparticles have a toxic effect on the white blood cells, part of your immune system that exists right in your lungs, in the alveoli, the little air sacs that expand and contract when you breathe. Okay, this is your first line of defense against infection. So if you are able to suppress the activity of the immune system in the lungs, it means that anything else you put into the air, it'll go right into your system without your...
COPD stands for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, a group of 5 lung diseases: asthma, bronchiectasis, cystic fibrosis, emphysema, and chronic bronchitis. Heavy long-term cigarette smoking most often causes the last 2,
and geoengineering,
emphysema and chronic bronchitis. But they all have one cardinal symptom: shortness of breath. You see, these diseases limit the flow of air into and out of